Back to politics now, and Mike Huckabee might be lagging in the Florida polls, but he is fighting the good fight ahead of the state's primary. He's on the phone right now, Republican presidential candidate Mike Huckabee. Welcome to you. Nice to talk to you today.
Thank you, Contessa. Good to be with you.
So how did you feel like last night's debate went?
Well, I was disappointed in the time allocation. I got about 12 minutes compared to 21 for some of the other candidates, but I felt like it went very well for us, and we had terrific response and got some points in about the infrastructure of the country and about getting rid of the IRS and why that would work and how it would help small business owners as well as large corporations. So I thought it was a good night for us.
You and I talked a couple days ago about pulling back a bit the campaign in Florida because of money problems, keeping it on a tighter belt. That being said, how important are opportunities like that debate for you to make your mark, given that in these polls, not only are you coming in fourth in the Florida polls, you're coming in fourth in New Jersey, in New York, and California polls as well?
Well, I'm coming in first in Georgia and in Tennessee and in Oklahoma and Arkansas and in Missouri. So, I didn't necessarily expect to carry New York, but what I've got to do is keep where I am. I'm number 2 in the delegate count nationally, and our poll numbers have us either at number 1 or number 2. So when people say, gee, you're not doing well in New York, the real issue is, how am I doing nationally? And I'm doing better than these guys who have outspent me 50-1, which I think is pretty significant.
Let me ask you, last night, Ron Paul took an opportunity to say that he thinks the Republican Party needs to get back to what the grand old party used to stand for in terms of small government and personal freedom. I know that you yourself have proposed doing away with the IRS, with the Internal Revenue Service, that in many ways, and perhaps fiscally, you agree with Ron Paul. Do you also feel like the Republican Party has failed to stick to its basic principles?
Well, on that particular issue, I think the congressman and I would agree. We need smaller government. What we do have needs to be more locally driven. We have ignored the 10th Amendment that leaves things to the states that aren't specifically enumerated to the national government. I also agree that we ought to have lower, not higher taxes. There are a number of things where our Republican Congress has really failed. The spending is completely out of control. We keep borrowing money, put it on the backs of our kids. Those are serious issues, and somebody's got to address them. It's one of the reasons I'm running for president, because I think I can and will, and as a governor, I did.
Governor, last night you were asked a question about Iraq, and you said just because weapons of mass destruction weren't found there doesn't mean that they did not exist. Do you truly believe that there potentially were weapons of mass destruction that we simply did not find?
Well, we know that Saddam Hussein said that he did have them. We know that he had them at one time and used them against the Kurds. The Democrats, as well as Republicans, believe that there was an imminent threat, and that's why they voted to go into Iraq in the first place. My point was that we don't know for sure. We know now that they're not there, but were they there before we invaded? Did they go to Syria or some other country? It's possible. We just simply don't know, but the fact that we don't know doesn't mean that it wasn't there.
Hey, Governor, just on a personal note, do you love campaigning in Florida more than, say, Iowa or New Hampshire? Because I saw that video of you out there jogging in shorts and beautiful weather outside. I mean, that's the fun part, right?
Well, it is the fun part, but let me say this. As much as I love the wonderful climate of Florida, and it is magnificent in January, the people in New Hampshire and Iowa were extraordinarily hospitable and warm, and despite very challenging
Wait, so are you calling Floridians cold?
Not at all. I'm saying that in Florida, the people are as warm as their climate, but in New Hampshire and Iowa and everywhere else we've been, people have been incredible to us, and that's one thing I found, that Americans, regardless of what kind of temperature they're experiencing, I think they're red hot for a new kind of government, and that's one of the reasons we're seeing great momentum in our campaign.
Governor Huckabee, thanks so much for your time today.
Thank you, Contessa. Bye.